All right, so we're starting in on our second video for section 9.6, and I wanted to take a moment, make sure you had a moment. So if you need to, pause the video and check your work for numbers 4 through 12. There we go. And what I'd really like to spend our time on at this point is down here at the bottom where it says factor out a common factor, then factor the remaining trinomial. This goes back to taking our section 9.4 work and our section 9.6 work and putting them together. So when we look at problem number 10, 2x squared, 14x, and 24 should all stand out as having a 2 in common. So when we do this problem, the first thing we're going to do is pull out that greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor is 2, no x's because that 24 is a constant. And when we pull out that 2, we're left with x squared plus 7x plus 12. Now this greatest common factor that we pulled out, it's just going to come along for the ride. We're not going to do anything else with it except write it in our answer. So when we look at this, we can use our x. We always do a times c, remember, at the top of the x. So we have 1 times 12, that's 12. And the b value is always at the bottom of the x. That in this case is 7. So a pair of numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7, multiply to a positive 12 and add to a positive 7. So they're both positive. Hopefully you see 4 and 3 really quickly. And the cool part is that anytime we have a 1 as a leading coefficient, we don't even have to use our box. We don't have to. I'm going to so you can see it, but really we can jump straight to our answer because our x has our answer in it. Let me show you with the box first so that you can see it. And then when we do number 11, you'll see it even better, or you'll see it again. So here's our box. And we keep our a x squared in there. Our constant always goes in the second corner, or the bottom right corner. And then we split this positive 7x into these two pieces. So 4x and 3x. And we're doing division, so we're going to pull greatest common factors here in our box. Let's see, up and down here we've got x, and across we have x. Across here we have a positive 4, and up and down we have a positive 3. And we end up with x plus 3 times x plus 4. Check that out right here in our x. Remember, this is only true, the x, you can stop at the x only when the leading coefficient is a 1. If you don't have a 1, then you can't do this. Let's do number 11 together as well. First step, anytime you see the directions factor, anytime you see that, the first step is always, can I pull out a greatest common factor? Is there something they're all divisible by? And in number 11, that divisibility is 3. 3 times x squared minus 1x, you could write the 1 or leave it invisible, minus 6. So now we're looking for the pair of numbers that multiply a times c, so negative 6, and add to b, that's negative 1. The pair of numbers that multiply to negative 6, to multiply to a negative, we have to have a positive and a negative. So multiply to 6, and those two numbers have to add to negative 1. So that's going to be a positive 2 and a negative 3. In my trinomial, my leading coefficient is a 1, so I'm not even going to bother with my box. X plus 2 times x minus 3. And I just caught an error. I forgot to bring down my my greatest common factor didn't come down. And look, I forgot to do it here in number 10. Mrs. Sturgeon would have lost some serious points. Now put it back in. Always keep that common factor out in front. Always keep that common factor out in front. Give problem number 12 a try, and then come back and check your work. Pause it, try number 12. Hopefully you worked out okay. And I just want to point out that this X and the box, eventually those are going to become things that you only need to use when you need them. I'd really like to be able to see that your work looks just like mine does, that you may not need this X or the box ever again. Eventually I'd like to see you get there, but it will take some practice and you have to do lots of problems to get to that point. So my recommendation is that you take the next page and the next page has some solving work on it. So let's take a look at that.